Cara Thomas was the daughter her family forgot existed. Black in a Korean household, dumped by her fiancé, who's now engaged to her perfect Korean stepsister. But when her ex tried to humiliate her at the engagement dinner, Kang Ha-Joon, Seoul's most dangerous man, walked in and said 3 words that changed everything. "She's with me." Welcome to Kiara Love Stories, besties. Before we begin this mind-blowing and epic story, please don't forget to support us by hitting the like and subscribe button. Cara Thomas had been invisible for exactly 26 years. Not literally. She existed. She worked as an event coordinator at the Kang Grand Hotel in downtown Seoul. She paid rent on a studio apartment in Busan. She had a best friend, a college degree, and a coffee addiction that cost more than she could ever imagine. But to her family? She was a ghost. Cara spent her days making other people visible, coordinating events where someone's daughter got engaged or someone's son graduated. And then she'd go home to a family that couldn't remember her birthday without a Facebook reminder. "Cara," the voice came from behind her, deep, barely accented, the kind of voice that didn't need to be loud to command attention. Cara turned from the ballroom she'd been inspecting, a corporate event tomorrow, tech company anniversary, and found him watching her from the doorway. Kang Ha-Joon. She'd seen him 3 times in the 6 months she'd worked at the Kang Grand. Each time, he'd been alone or with one man, tall, Korean, built like he could break someone in half without blinking. Security, clearly. But not normal security, the kind that signaled serious danger. Ha-Joon himself was difficult to read. Korean, probably early 30s, with the kind of face that belonged on magazine covers. Sharp jawline, dark eyes that seemed to catalog everything they saw. Black hair styled with expensive precision. He wore suits that cost a whole lot and moved through the hotel like he owned it. Which, according to whispered hotel gossip, he basically did. The Kang Grand was owned by a subsidiary of a company, owned by another company, that eventually traced back to the Kang family. And the Kang family didn't just own hotels. They owned Seoul's shadows, the parts of the city that operated outside laws and oversight. "Mr. Kang," Cara said, keeping her voice professional. "Can I help you with something?" "You're Cara Thomas." Not a question, a statement. She blinked twice. Yes." He tilted his head as though assessing her entire face. "You coordinate events here?" "Yes." "How long have you worked at the Kang Grand?" 6 months. "Is there something you need for an event?" Ha-Joon moved closer. Not threatening. He maintained appropriate professional distance, but intentional, like every step was calculated. "No event," he said. "Just wanted to confirm. You're the coordinator who fixed the Chen wedding disaster last month." Cara blinked again. The Chen wedding had been a nightmare. Wrong flowers delivered. Caterer canceled last minute. Mother of the bride in hysterics. Cara had spent 18 hours straight making it work, calling in favors, personally driving to 3 different florists. The family had been thrilled. Cara had been exhausted. "How do you know about that?" "I pay attention to competence." "It's rare." Ha-Joon's dark eyes held hers. "The Chens are business associates. They mentioned your name, said you turned a disaster into their daughter's perfect day." "I was just doing my job." "No. You went beyond your job. There's a difference." He tilted his head again. Before Cara could respond, his phone buzzed. Ha-Joon glanced at it, his expression shifting to something unreadable. "I have to go. But I wanted you to know, your work doesn't go unnoticed, even when you think it does." He left before Cara could process the statement. Left her standing in an empty ballroom, wondering why the most dangerous man in Seoul cared about her career performance. The call came 3 days later. Cara was home, eating takeout pad thai and watching reality TV, when her phone lit up with Iama on the screen, her stepmother, who only called when she wanted something or needed to deliver bad news. She grumbled and then slid right. "Hello." "Cara." Her stepmother's voice was crisp, measured, with just enough Korean accent to remind Cara she'd never quite fit into this family. "We're having dinner on Saturday night, Bellini's restaurant, 7 p.m. You'll be there." Not an invitation. A command. "What's the occasion?" Cara asked, though she already felt the dread pooling in her stomach. "Your sister's engagement. We're celebrating officially. The Parks will be there, Minho's family. It's important we show unity. As a family." Minho Park, Cara's ex-fiancé, who'd proposed to her 2 years ago with a princess-cut diamond and promises of forever. Who'd broken things off 8 months later because, as her stepmother had delicately explained, Korean families have expectations. Minho needs someone who understands our culture, someone who can navigate our world properly. Someone Korean, not someone black. Not someone whose father had died when she was 12, leaving her mother to remarry a wealthy Korean businessman who already had a perfect daughter. Not someone who'd spent her teenage years being the obvious outsider at every family gathering, every holiday photo, every milestone celebration where her stepsister Samantha effortlessly belonged. "Samantha and Minho are engaged," Cara said flatly. "Yes, isn't it wonderful? They're very happy. Minho's parents are thrilled." A pause. "You'll come, and you'll be gracious. This is important for our family's reputation." Our family. Done as if Cara had ever been included in that "our." "I have work." She tried to come up with an excuse, but she got interrupted immediately. "You'll make time, of course. 7 p.m. Bellini's." She could swear she heard her stepmother snort. "Oh, and wear something appropriate. Not that dress you wore to Christmas. Something that doesn't make you stand out so much." The line went dead. Cara sat in her quiet apartment, pad tie forgotten, and felt the familiar weight of invisibility crushing her chest. Her ex-fiancé was marrying her stepsister, and she was expected to show up, smile, and pretend it didn't destroy her. The worst part? No one would even notice if she didn't come. They'd make excuses. Cara couldn't make it. Work, you know. She's always so busy. And they'd continue the celebration without her. I'm relieved she wasn't there to complicate the perfect Korean family tableau. Cara looked at her reflection in the darkened TV screen. Dark skin, her father's features that stood out in every family photo like a glitch in the system. She was tired of being invisible. She was tired of being the daughter they'd rather forget. And as she poured herself a glass of wine, then another, an absolutely insane idea started forming. Cara woke Saturday morning with anxiety vibrating through her bones and a hangover pounding behind her eyes. The dinner was in 9 hours. She'd already picked out a dress, yellow, simple, the kind that wouldn't draw attention but wouldn't make her look like she was trying too hard. She'd rehearsed her smile, practiced her gracious congratulations, prepared herself for an evening of being professionally invisible. But the insane idea from last night wouldn't leave her alone. What if she wasn't invisible? What if she walked into that dinner with someone so undeniably powerful that even her stepmother couldn't ignore her? What if she brought Kang Ha-Joon? The thought was absurd. She didn't know him. They'd spoken maybe 5 times, always briefly, always professionally. He was reportedly connected to organized crime. He probably had a girlfriend, or a wife, or a dozen women far more interesting than an event coordinator from Busan. But he'd said he remembered her face, her competence. He'd noticed her work when her own family couldn't remember her birthday. Cara drank 3 cups of coffee and made a decision that was either brilliant or career-ending. She was going to ask Kang Ha-Joon to be her fake boyfriend for exactly 20 minutes. The Kang Grand's executive offices were on the 23rd floor. Cara had never been up there. Her work kept her in ballrooms and conference rooms, coordinating logistics and managing vendors. But at 6 p.m. on Saturday evening, 1 hour before she was supposed to be at Bellini's, Cara stepped off the elevator into a hallway that screamed money and power. Dark wood panels, recessed lighting, original art that probably cost more than her apartment. A man appeared from nowhere, the same security guard who shadowed Ha-Joon. Up close, he was even more intimidating. Tall, Korean, probably late 30s, with a scar running through his left eyebrow and eyes that assessed her like a threat. "You're in a restricted area," he said. His voice was surprisingly polite for someone who looked like he killed people professionally. "I need to see Ha-Joon. Kang Ha-Joon, Please, it's important. Mr. Kang doesn't take walk-in appointments. I know. But I work here. Cara Thomas, event coordinator. He knows who I am. Just, please, 5 minutes. That's all I need. The man studied her, then pulled out his phone, spoke quietly in Korean, listened, nodded. Follow me. He led her down the hallway to a corner office, double doors. Inside, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's skyline at dusk. Minimalist furniture. A desk that was more art than function. And Ha-Joon, standing by the window with a phone pressed to his ear, speaking in rapid Korean. He glanced up when Cara entered, his expression unreadable. He ended the call. Cara Thomas. I'm surprised. I'm sorry for barging in. I know this is inappropriate. Collins wouldn't have brought you up if I hadn't allowed it. Sit. Cara sat. The security guard, Collins, stationed himself by the door, silent but watchful. I need a favor, Cara said before she could lose her nerve. And I know how this sounds. But I'm desperate, and you're the only person I can think of who might... She stopped. Started over. My family is having dinner tonight, celebrating my stepsister's engagement to my ex-fiancé, and they expect me to show up and smile and act like it doesn't hurt, like I'm happy for them, and I can't. I can't do it alone. I can't walk in there and be invisible again. Ha-Joon's expression didn't change. And you want me to, what? Be your date? For 20 minutes. She clasped her hands, already feeling desperation seeping through her voice. Just 20 minutes. You show up, we walk in together, you exist in the same space as my family for exactly 20 minutes, and then you can leave. I'll handle the rest. I know it's insane. I know you probably have better things to do. But I'm asking anyway, because I'm out of options, and you're the only person powerful enough that they can't ignore you. Silence. Ha-Joon studied her with those dark, cataloging eyes. Min-ho Park, he said finally. That's your ex-fiancé's name? Cara blinked. Yes. How did you... I know the Parks. They're business associates. Ha-Joon moved to his desk, leaned against it. Min-ho Park broke your engagement to marry your stepsister? Yes. And your family expects you to celebrate this? They expect me to be gracious, to not make things uncomfortable, to remember my place. He tilted his head. Which is? The leftover daughter. The one who doesn't quite fit. Cara met his eyes. I'm black. My father was black. He died when I was 12, and my mother remarried into a Korean family. And I've spent 14 years being reminded in 1,000 small ways that I don't belong, that I'm the charity case, the stepdaughter they tolerate, but don't actually want. Something shifted in Ha-Joon's expression. Not quite sympathy, more like recognition. 20 minutes, he said. What? I'll give you 20 minutes. Bellini's. 7 p.m. What's your full name? She could feel her heart pounding. Cara Thomas. Ha-Joon nodded. I'll be there. With Collins. We'll walk in together. Stay 20 minutes. Then leave. He paused. But understand something, Cara Thomas. Once I do this, there are consequences. Your family will ask questions. People will notice. My presence doesn't go unnoticed. Are you prepared for that? Cara thought about her stepmother's perfectly controlled dinner parties, about Min-ho's smug certainty that he'd traded up, about Samantha's oblivious happiness while Cara drowned. I'm prepared, she lied. Ha-Joon smiled slightly. We'll see. Bellini's was the kind of restaurant where reservations required 3 months' notice, and the sommelier knew your wine preferences from your last visit 2 years ago. Cara arrived at 6:55 p.m. in her yellow dress and practiced smile. Her stepmother had reserved a private corner table, round, white tablecloth, fresh orchids as a centerpiece. Already seated, her stepmother Ji-won, elegant in navy blue, her father Richard, reading his phone and barely looking up. Samantha, radiant in cream silk, and Min-ho, are handsome and confident in the way men who've never faced real consequences always are. Cara, Ji-won said, her smile tight. You're late. It was 6:57. Sorry, Iyama, traffic. Sit. We were just discussing the wedding timeline. Cara sat in the chair farthest from Min-ho, but the table was round. There was no escaping his presence. Cara. Min-ho nodded at her like they were distant acquaintances instead of people who'd once planned a future together. Good to see you. Congratulations, Cara managed. Both of you. Samantha beamed. Thank you, Unnie. I'm so glad you could make it. Yama said you've been so busy with work. Code 4? We didn't think you'd show. The waiter appeared with menus. Cara ordered water and tried to disappear into her chair. That's when Min-ho leaned close and whispered, too quiet for the rest of the table to hear, but perfectly audible to Cara. I'm going to marry your sister, and there's nothing you can do about it. You should have been more Korean when you had the chance. The words hit like a slap, deliberately cruel, precisely aimed. And something in Cara snapped. Actually, she said clearly, loud enough that everyone turned to look. I'm seeing someone too. Seriously seeing someone. So congratulations to us both. Ji-won's eyes sharpened. Oh, and who is this mysterious man? Cara opened her mouth, closed it. She didn't have a name. She'd been so focused on getting through tonight that she'd forgotten she'd need a cover story. That's when the restaurant's entrance door opened, and Kang Ha-Joon walked in. He wore all black, suit, shirt, shoes. Ox Collins was one step behind him, scanning the room with professional efficiency. The maitre d' approached immediately, probably to explain about reservations, but Ha-Joon ignored him. His eyes found Cara's across the restaurant, and he smiled. Not a big smile, just a slight curve of his lips. But in that moment, Cara felt seen. Actually seen, for the first time in 14 years. Him, she said quietly. Kang Ha-Joon. I'm seeing Kang Ha-Joon. Ji-won's face went pale. The Kang Ha-Joon, the one whose family. Yes, that one. Min-ho had frozen, his confident expression cracking. Cara, that's not funny. You can't just... But Ha-Joon was already crossing the restaurant, walking straight to their table with Collins flanking him. The entire dining room had gone quiet, watching. He stopped at Cara's chair, extended his hand to her. All ready? He asked. Cara took his hand and stood. Her legs felt shaky, but she forced them steady. Ha-Joon, this is my family, she smiled. My stepmother Ji-won, my father Richard, my sister Samantha, and her fiancé, Min-ho Park. Ha-Joon's gaze moved across each face, lingered on Min-ho with something cold and assessing. Min-ho Park, Ha-Joon said softly. I know your father. I'm sure he'll be interested to hear about this dinner, about how you treated my... He paused deliberately. My Cara. You're... Min-ho started. We're leaving, Ha-Joon said. Not to Min-ho, to Cara. Unless you want to stay? Cara looked at her family, at Ji-won's shocked expression, at her father finally looking up from his phone with actual attention, at Samantha's confusion, at Min-ho's fear. No, Cara said. I'm good. Ha-Joon's hand was warm on her lower back as he guided her toward the exit. Collins cleared a path. The entire restaurant watched them leave. They made it to the sidewalk before Cara started shaking. Breathe, Ha-Joon said quietly. You did well. I can't believe... Car's here. A black SUV pulled up. Collins opened the back door. Cara hesitated. I thought you were just staying 20 minutes. You can drop me at my apartment. Get in the car, Cara. Something in his voice made her comply. She slid into the back seat. Ha-Joon followed. Collins took the front passenger seat. The driver, another Korean man in black, pulled into traffic. Where are we going? Cara asked. Marriott, my place. We need to talk. About what? About the consequences I warned you about. Ha-Joon's dark eyes met hers. So, you just told your family you're with me, in front of witnesses. Min-ho Park will tell his father. His father will tell business associates. By morning, all of Seoul's Korean community will know Cara Thomas is under Kang protection. I didn't mean, I know what you meant. Revenge. I understand. His voice softened slightly. But you used my name. That means something. In my world, that means everything. So now we deal with it. Deal with it how? Ha-Joon smiled slightly. You're about to find out. The penthouse took up the entire top floor of a building in Marriott, with views of Han River. It was beautiful and completely impersonal. Expensive furniture, abstract art, no photos, no personal touches. Like a hotel suite where someone existed but didn't actually live. Sit, Ha-Joon said, gesturing to a gray leather couch. Cara sat. Colin stationed himself by the door. Ha-Joon poured 2 glasses of something amber from a crystal decanter. Drink, he said, handing her one. You'll need it. Cara sipped. Expensive whiskey that burned smooth. Ha-Joon sat across from her in a matching chair. Here's the situation. You're now under my protection whether you intended it or not. The Parks are old family Korean. They have business connections to my family. Minho's father will have heard about tonight by now. He'll want to know if you're actually with me, or if you were making a statement. And which is it? That depends on you. Ha-Joon set down his glass. I can confirm it. Say you're mine. That comes with protection, safety, resources, but also rules. My world is dangerous. What people who know you're connected to me will either respect you or try to use you. There's no middle ground. Cara's brows shot up. Or I deny it, Ha-Joon replied. Say you were exaggerating. That releases you from any obligation, but it also means you're on your own. And Minho Park strikes me as the type who doesn't like being embarrassed, especially not in front of his family. Cara's hands were shaking again. Why would you help me? You don't even know me. I know you fixed an impossible wedding in 18 hours. I know you show up to work early and stay late. I know you're competent and invisible and tired of being both. Ha-Joon leaned forward. And I know what it's like to not fit into the world your family built for you. But you're Korean, she gulped. Korean-American, Ha-Joon corrected with a smile. Not born in Seoul, raised between 2 worlds. My father wanted me to be American enough to run legitimate businesses, Korean enough to respect tradition, dangerous enough to run the family empire. I've spent my life being all 3, and none of them. So, yes, Cara Thomas, I know what it's like to be the wrong kind of child. The honesty surprised her, made him feel real instead of just dangerous. If I say yes, Cara said carefully, if I let you confirm this, what happens? You stay here, in the guest room, for a week, maybe more, until we establish the pattern, until people believe it's real. Collins protects you. You follow my rules. And in return, your family never makes you feel invisible again, because you're under Kang protection, and that means something. What rules? 3. Simple ones. Ha-Joon held up 3 fingers. Done, you don't go anywhere alone. Collins or another guard is always with you. 2. You don't share this address. Not with friends. Not with family. The only phone you use for location-based anything is the one I'll give you. 3. You don't discuss my business with anyone. You see things, hear things. You forget them. Those rules keep you alive. Understand? Cara thought about her apartment in Busan, about going back to being invisible, about Minho's whispered cruelty. I understand, she said. Then welcome to the cage, Cara Thomas. It's pretty, but it's still a cage. The guest room was bigger than Cara's entire apartment. King bed, ensuite bathroom with a rainfall shower and heated floors, a closet that could fit 3 people, and absolutely nothing personal. Like the rest of the penthouse, it felt temporary, staged. Cara sat on the bed and tried to process everything. 24 hours ago, she'd been dreading a dinner. Now she was living with Seoul's most dangerous man, protected by guards, following rules designed to keep her alive. Her phone buzzed. Her old phone, the one from her purse. Ji-won, we need to talk, immediately. Samantha, Honey, what's going on? Yama is furious. Minho, Cara, this isn't funny. Call me. And one from her father. The first text he'd sent her in 6 months. Explain yourself. Cara turned off the phone. There was a knock on the door. Come in. Ha-Joon entered with a new phone. Sleek, black, clearly expensive. For you, it's secure. Has my number, Collins' number, emergency contacts. Use this for everything while you're here. Your old phone is compromised. Compromised how? Trackable. Your family will try to find you. The Parks will want to verify you're really here. This phone keeps you safe. He handed it to her. There's food in the kitchen. Collins will show you where everything is. You need anything, text me. Don't leave the penthouse without telling me first. When do I go back to work? Monday. We'll drive you. Make it visible that you're under protection. Your coordinator position is safe. I own the hotel. But people will ask questions. Be prepared. Ha-Joon turned to leave. Wait, Cara said. Why are you really doing this? It can't just be because I fixed a wedding. Ha-Joon looked at her for a long moment. Because you asked. And because when you walked into that restaurant alone, ready to face people who've spent years making you feel worthless, you had more courage than most men I work with. That matters. Courage like that doesn't deserve to be wasted. He left before she could respond. Cara lay back on the bed and stared at the ceiling. Somewhere in Seoul, her family was panicking. Her ex-fiancé was realizing he'd underestimated her. And she was living in a penthouse with a man she barely knew who'd just upended her entire life. But for the first time in 14 years, she didn't feel invisible. 3 weeks later, living with Ha-Joon was strange, not because he was cruel or demanding, but because he was so carefully distant. They had breakfast together most mornings, coffee and toast, minimal conversation. He asked about her work. She asked about his day. Neither pushed for more. At night, Ha-Joon usually worked late in his office. Cara would read or watch TV, or call her best friend Delaney, who was equal parts horrified and fascinated. You're living with Kang Ha-Joon, Delaney said for the 100th time. The Kang Ha-Joon. Do you know what people say about him? I know. Trust me, I know. And you're okay? He's been nothing but professional. Almost too professional. It's like living with a very attractive, very dangerous roommate who happens to run organized crime. But there were moments, small ones, when their hands brushed, reaching for the same coffee cup. When Ha-Joon smiled at something Cara said, and his whole face changed. When Cara caught him watching her, with an expression she couldn't quite read. And there was one rule Ha-Joon hadn't mentioned, but became obvious. No leaving the penthouse without Collins. Cara tested it once, 3 weeks in. She just wanted coffee from the shop on the corner, needed fresh air, independence, something normal. She made it halfway down the block before the black SUV appeared. Collins stepped out, his expression thunderous. Get in the car. I just wanted coffee. Get in the car! Cara got in. Collins drove her back in silence. Ha-Joon was waiting in the penthouse lobby, his face carved from ice. Upstairs, now. In the penthouse, Ha-Joon turned on her with controlled fury. What were you thinking? She couldn't believe it. I wanted coffee. I've been locked up for 3 weeks. You've been protected for 3 weeks. There's a difference. People are watching you, Cara. He fumed. The Parks want to know if you're really with me. My enemies want to know if you're a weakness. And you just walked out alone. Unprotected, like you're a civilian who doesn't have a target on her back. I didn't ask for this. I asked for 20 minutes at a dinner. And I gave you more than that. I gave you protection, safety, a life where your family can't hurt you. But protection requires rules, and you just broke the most important one. Maybe I don't want protection if it means being a prisoner. You're not a prisoner. Ha-Joon's voice dropped dangerously low. A prisoner doesn't get a choice. You can leave anytime, walk out that door, go back to being invisible. But if you stay, you follow my rules. Because those rules are the only thing keeping you alive. Cara felt tears burning. I just wanted normal. For 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of normal. Something in Ha-Joon's expression cracked. He moved closer, not threatening, but deliberate. There is no normal for you anymore. You used my name. That changed everything. And I need to know. Do you understand that? Do you understand what world you're in now? No, Cara admitted. I don't. You won't tell me. You keep everything secret. I'm living in your house, following your rules, and I don't even know why you really helped me that night. What aren't you telling me? Ha-Joon's jaw tightened. The truth. Min-ho Park's father owes my family money. A lot of money. From a deal that went bad 5 years ago, and I've been waiting for leverage to collect. Then you walked into my office and gave me exactly that. A way into the Park family. A reason to be visible in their circle. The words hit like cold water. So this was never about helping me. It was business. It started as business, but Ha-Joon stopped. Started again. No, I couldn't refuse you that night. Not because of the Parks. Because you were honest. You were desperate and scared and still brave enough to ask. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about that. About you. What are you saying? I'm saying this got complicated. His hand came up, touched her face gently. I'm saying I want you to stay. Not for business. Not for leverage. Because having you here feels right. And I need to know if you feel it too. Cara should have pulled away. Should have been furious about the manipulation. But his hand was warm on her skin, and his eyes held something raw and vulnerable. I feel it, she whispered. Ha-Joon kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It was weeks of tension breaking. Cara kissed back, pulling him closer, letting go of fear and doubt and the careful distance they'd maintained. When they broke apart, both breathless, Ha-Joon rested his forehead against hers. Stay, he said. Please, stay with me. On one condition, Cara said. No more secrets. If I'm in this world, I need to know what I'm in. All of it. Deal. 1 week later, Cara woke to Ha-Joon's arm around her waist and sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. They'd spent the week learning each other, not just physically, though that had been intense and perfect, but emotionally. Ha-Joon told her about his father's death, about inheriting an empire at 25, about the impossible balance between legitimate business and the shadows his family operated in. Cara told him about her father's death, about feeling invisible, about rebuilding herself over and over, only to be forgotten again. They won't forget you now, Ha-Joon said, kissing her shoulder. You're mine, and I protect what's mine. Cara turned to face him. Is that what I am? Yours? If you want to be. I think I do. But I need to know something first. Why did you really agree that night? The truth. Ha-Joon was quiet for a moment. Because I was there. Where? At Bellini's, having dinner alone. And I saw you walk in. Saw you eating with your family. Saw the way they ignored you. And when you got up to leave early, you walked past my table. You were crying, trying to hide it. But I saw. Cara's breath caught. You were watching me? I've been watching you for 6 months, since the day you started at the Congrand, since I saw you coordinate that Chen wedding. You were brilliant, competent, invisible to everyone except me. And I kept watching. I kept noticing you. Collins thought I was crazy, but I couldn't stop. Ha-Joon pulled her closer. So when you walked into my office asking for help, I was already gone, already invested, already yours. That's insane. Probably. But it's true. Cara kissed him. I'm glad you're crazy, because I'm falling for you too. They stayed in bed until Collins knocked with breakfast, stayed tangled together like normal people instead of an event coordinator and a crime lord. But reality came crashing back that afternoon. Ha-Joon's office door burst open. Collins entered, his face grim. We have a problem. Ha-Joon sighed. What kind of problem? The Parks. They want to meet. Officially. With both of you. They're claiming Cara's presence in your life is a business concern. Tell them no, Ha-Joon, Cara said quietly. Maybe we should. Maybe it's time to face them. Together. You don't know what you're asking. Then show me. No more protecting me from your world. I'm in it now. So show me what that means. Ha-Joon looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Fine. Set up the meeting. But Cara stays with me the entire time. Make that clear. Yes, sir. After Collins left, Ha-Joon pulled Cara close. You're sure about this? Once we meet with them officially, there's no going back. You'll be in this completely. I've been in this completely since you walked into that restaurant. I'm just ready to stop pretending otherwise. Then we do this together, Ha-Joon said. But if anything happens, if I tell you to leave, to run, you listen. Understand? I understand. But later, when Ha-Joon was in the shower and Cara was alone, she found something that changed everything. A folder on Ha-Joon's desk with her name on it. Inside, photos of her, not from 6 months ago, from 2 years ago, at work, at home, with Minho. Detailed surveillance reports, financial records, even medical files, and a note in Ha-Joon's handwriting. Target acquired. Begin approach when relationship with Park ends. Use employment at Kang Grand as natural connection point. Kara's hands shook as she read. This wasn't protection. This was a plan. A detailed, calculated plan that started long before she'd walked into his office. Ha-Joon had been watching her for 2 years. Not 6 months. 2 years. And everything. The job offer at his hotel. The chance meetings. Even that night at Bellini's where he'd happened to be there. All of it had been planned. She wasn't protected. And she was being played. The bathroom door opened. Ha-Joon emerged, saw her holding the folder, went absolutely still. Cara, 2 years, she said, and she could literally feel tears forming right at the corner of her eyes. You've been watching me for 2 years. Everything was a setup. The job, the meetings, even caring about me. It was all, no. Ha-Joon tried to move closer to her. Seriously, no. Just listen to me. I thought you were different. Kara's voice shook. I thought you saw me. But you just wanted leverage against the Parks. I was never anything more than a tool. That's not true. It started that way. But it's not. You have to believe me. Cara walked to the door. I need to leave. You can't. It's not safe. I don't care. She turned to face him, tears streaming down her face. I was invisible to my family. I was a disappointment to my ex. And now I'm just a pawn in your business war. I'm done being used by people who don't actually see me. Cara, please. But she was already gone, walking out into a world she didn't understand, away from the man who'd made her feel seen, only to prove it was all an illusion. And Ha-Joon stood in his empty penthouse, the folder in his hands, knowing he'd just lost the one person who'd made him feel human. The one person he'd accidentally fallen in love with while trying to use her. The one person who'd finally made his world feel less cold. This is just the beginning of Cara and Ha-Joon's story. If you're curious to see what happens next, Part 2 is already out on Patreon. It picks up immediately, and it's the full, uncut version of the story. It'll be dropping on YouTube later, but if you want it now, along with the full ebook, check the pinned comment. Thank you for watching, besties. See you in the next story.